Welcome to South Asia Maps, your education channel. Mitronam, this is your presenter Dr. J. Reddy, J. Tirupati Reddy. We are continuing our rice grains on chessboard series. Our wheat grains and chessboard series are the rice grains and chessboard enigma. Indirectly, in a sense, we are talking about the concept of exponential growth or compounding. That means certain number, such as a principal, grows at a particular rate, compounding. It can be 1% or 7% bank interest or even 20% credit card interest. So, in part 6, we are exploring that problem. If you have a chessboard here that has 64 squares, and if you are adding the rice grains 1 and then next square 2, then 4, then 8 like that, how much time it takes to put the grain 1 year? For 1 year, if you are putting a grain 1 grain per second, it will take 1 year. 1 grain at a second you are placing on the board. It will take 1 year just to fill the 25th or 26th squares on the board. This is the 25th or 26th squares on the board like this. Why 25th or 26th? We'll explain later. It is number of the grains on the board or number of the grains on a particular square. After this presentation, you will get a very good clarity on this. మిత్రులారా, మనము చదరంగం బోర్డు పైన ప్రతి సెకండుకు ఒక రైస్ విత్తనాన్ని పెట్టుకుంటూ పోతే 1 ఇయర్ 1 సంవత్సరం తీసుకుంటుంది 26వ స్క్వేర్ మొత్తాన్ని నింపడము. అంటే 25 స్క్వేర్లు మొత్తం చెస్ బోర్డు నింపడానికి టైం పడుతుంది. దానిపైన విశదీకరణ ఇస్తాను. These are the topics in the rice grains and the chessboard. We are now discussing the part 6. Effort to place on the 25th square so far on the board means 1 to 25th, including it takes around about 1 year time, assuming you are able to put 1 grain on the board per second. And the rest of the related topics will be posting soon on the same rice grain chessboard series. So all these presentations, Mitronam, I have posted at South Asia Maps J. Reddy Education channel. There are around about 750 or so. 2025 February, that is Shivaratri time, and you can pick and choose the topic of our interest on Indology related, human ecology, agriculture, demography, and varied diverse fields of interest I covered. Excuse me. Before that, you should be having a broader idea of the concept of what is a million, what is a billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion. These are the standard dictionary numbers. The metric system is mega, giga, tera, peta, exa. Million means mega, billion means giga. That means million has 6 zeros, billion has 9, trillion is very easy to remember, 12. Million 6, billion 9, trillion. Then the peta and exa, 15 and 18. One easy way to I can remember is, if you remember a country, Mongolia, million, that is the mega and giga. If you remember Mumbai city and the Salsette Island and the Sindh Sagar coast, that is the million, billion. Then remember the Taiwan, Formosa country, that is China, capital Taipei, that is the tera, peta and exa. In order to cut this chase, Mitronam, you have to remember one simple thing. You have to remember that a year contains 32 million seconds. How we came to this conclusion, here we are exploring. This is the key aspect to understand it. I will go over this in detail here. See, we have 60 seconds here, then 60 minutes here, then we have 24 hours here, and there are around about 365 days here. If you multiply all of them together, that is 60, 60, 24, 365, you will get 31, 536, 30. These are all in seconds. That means essentially there are round about 6 zeros in front of 31. Instead of 31, we round it to 32. 32 with 6 zeros in front of it. 6 zeros means a million, a basic thing. Million is 6 zeros, billion is 9 zeros, trillion, T and 12 zeros. So the rice grains, there will be 32 million seconds in a year. Suppose you take the one grain and assume there is a 1 second it takes to put it in a heap. This is debatable or subjective. Is it takes 1 second or less or more? That means if the grain is there throughout the world, it may take transport it and put it. Assuming the grain is present in the nearby, somebody handing over to you, you are putting in a particular square, it takes 1 second. This is the assumption, just to understand the concept. That means, suppose instead of 32 million seconds, you can assume 33 million seconds. That means you can put 33 million grains or 32 million grains on the board in a year. 33 million grains is nothing but, if you take the chessboard at 25th square, you see the 25th square here, the grains on this particular square is different from grains so far on the board. Grains so far, because you're just doubling, right? This aspect we discussed before. In the Once there are the grains so far on the board will be the more than the all the cumulative grains before. You can look in this way. So when you are putting 16 million grains on this 25th square up to so far, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, including 25th, you have 33 million grains. Or you can also look in other way. You go to the next square, you put almost the same grain. One less, that's not a serious issue. That means, because until so far, including the 25th square on the chessboard, there are 33 million grains. That means it takes almost a year to place the grains on that chessboard. That's what we are thinking about. That's what we are discussing. The size of the heap, having that much grain, is the height is the here the when you are putting a heap, that means you say big heap on the 26th square. This is the 25th, this is the 26th. 33 33 million grains here, and the height is around about 44 centimeters, and the diameter is around about 2 meters or so. If you calculate all the weight, 350 kilograms or so. That is the things you have to keep in mind. So that is the very important things you have. So the process is enormous. Remember, we are just only on the 25th square, or perhaps in the 26th square, that is a 33 million grains. We have to navigate to 64th square. How many grains in the 64th square we have? We discussed this is very easy. There are 8 billion people on the planet Earth in 2022 or so. You add 1 in front of it, that B becomes 18, because the billion here, put 1 more billion. That means when entire chessboard, after filling the 64th square, entire board contains 18, followed by billion. That means 9 zeros, 9 zeros, 18 zeros. 18 followed by 18 zeros, that is 18 hexagrains or 18 quintillion grains. 18 zeros means hexa quintillion. That many grains you have to fill on the chessboard on that particular 64th square, almost half. Instead of 18, that is the 9 billion or 9 quintillion or 9 hexagram. So the task is humongous. That's why humans lack intuitiveness or intelligence, the natural way of thinking on the concept of compounding, the concept of exponential growth. That is the point of discussion of taking the example of rice grains on the chessboard or wheat grains on the chessboard, the enigma riddle. And in the next part, we will continue, that is the part 7. It will take 33 years, almost half of a person's life, to just to place the grains, that is 1 grain per second, on the 34th square or entire chessboard until including 38th square. So you can look in both ways. So that's the point we'll be discussing. Thank you very much, Mitronam, joining me today. This is your presenter, Dr. J. Reddy. And if you think these presentations are valuable to you and enhancing your intellectual curiosity, acumen, and thinking, you can just post your comments or suggestions or even bring it to the notice of your friends. And see you later, Mitronam, in other presentation. Your presenter, Dr. J. Tirupati Reddy, Jogari Tirupati Reddy at South Asia Maths.